Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing the New York Times by the book tag. I've seen this tag flying around over the past few weeks, so I thought I would jump on the bandwagon. So the first question is, what book is currently on your nightstand? That book is Coraline and Other Stories. So I mentioned in my previous video that I've read Coraline and I really enjoyed it. So now I'm working my way through the other short stories in this book. They're really good stories. I think everyone should definitely pick this up if they want like a little fun book to read. It also has illustrations inside for Coraline. Just think they're really cute illustrations and they go really nicely with the story. That is a creepy picture for a creepy story and I really like it. Question 2 is, what was the last truly great book that you read? I've read a lot of good books this year. I read a lot of really amazing classics as well this year because of my university modules. Because I've been talking about them a lot recently, I want to go with one that I read last year, but I've been thinking a lot about it recently because the next book in the series is about to come out in the next few months and I'm really excited. And that book is The 12 by Justin Cronin. It's a really good book. So this is the second installment in his trilogy, The Passage. I don't even know how to explain it. So much happens. It's interesting how the pace is very consistent, but so much happens at the same time. Like, it's not like he rushes through anything. Everything happens in its own time, at the right pace. It's fantastic writing as well. His writing style is really incredible, and I would love to just talk to him about this series. I absolutely adore these books, and I think everyone should go and pick up The Passage. They are quite long. The Passage was just under 1,000 pages, but it's worth it. Without giving too much away, it's a scientific exploration gone bad. It's a really good book. It follows so many diverse characters. I would recommend The Passage for any genre. It's science fiction, it's dystopian fantasy, it's fiction. I think everyone should find these books and read them immediately. I'm also really tempted to reread it before the third book comes out. Question 3 is, if you could meet any writer, dead or alive, who would it be and what would you want to talk about? So I have mentioned my adoration for Mary Shelley several times in past videos. She's an incredible woman. Her writing is incredible. She is just incredible, and I would love to sit down and have tea with Mary Shelley. I would talk to her about her friends group of Byron and Coleridge and Wordsworth. I would talk to her about all of them because I'm a big fan of romantic poetry. As well, Tolkien, obviously, because Tolkien, he is my big fantasy love. I love Middle Earth. I also love Tolkien's critical essays or Daphne du Maurier. These are all dead authors. I'm very aware of that, but I love Daphne du Maurier as well. She's my general fiction love, and the way that she kind of integrates like a slight bit of fantasy or science fiction into her works are really good. And yeah, so I know that's not just one, but I have too many authors that I would love to sit down and chat with. Question 4 is, what books might we be surprised to find on your shelves? I don't think that any of my books would be particularly surprising. There are some quite raunchy books, but I studied them for university. So there's J.G. Ballard's Crash, which is a very disturbing book, but it's what it is. I do have Ron Burgundy's autobiography as well, which isn't mine, but it is on my shelf. So question 5, how do you organise your personal library? I did alphabetize all of my books, last name of each author obviously, and then by series release. It started out as being alphabetized, but as I have run out of room, I've just kind of started stacking books kind of like all over, up and down all of my shelves because I have nowhere else to put them. Question 6. What book have you always meant to read and haven't gotten around to yet? For this one, I'm going to go with Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. I do actually have 2 copies of this. This one my grandma gave me when I was quite young. She gave me a collection of classics, which I quite like actually. They all have really just simple designs. My mum bought me this for Christmas one year. It is Little Women and Good Wives. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I actually really like this illustration as well. I think it's very nice. I've always really wanted to read this. I just haven't yet. And I do feel quite embarrassed that I've not read it yet, because it's obviously one of those books that everyone, I think, should read, especially young women. Question 7. Disappointed, overrated, or just not good? What book did you feel you were supposed to like but didn't? I didn't particularly not enjoy it, and that is The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. I liked it. I was just really underwhelmed by it. I thought I would enjoy this a lot more, especially with kind of the influence that this book had on society. People memorized this book and then went out and killed people for it, for J.D. Salinger. I just found it incredible. Not incredible in a way like, oh my god, that's so cool, I want to go do that too, but kind of just that happened because of this book, and I was expecting it to be incredible. Maybe it didn't affect me because I'm not psychotic. I don't know. But I was really underwhelmed. I thought I was going to enjoy it so much more than I did, but I really didn't. I thought it was an interesting piece of literature. I did. I liked the narrative voice. I liked the story. I was let down. I wanted so much more from it. I think I find the author's life more interesting than the actual book. After writing this book, and after 2 people went out on a murdering spree because of reading his book, he went into hiding, he refused the media, he refused contact with anyone, and no one knew anything about him for the rest of his life. And I found that fascinating. Maybe my expectations were just too high for this book, and I let myself down because of it. Do you remember the last book you put down without finishing? Yes, I do, and I do not regret putting it down. I regret buying it, to be honest. And that disaster is Slated by Terry Terry. I really liked the sound of this book. I was really excited to pick it up and read it. I thought it was a really interesting concept, and I was expecting it to be done really well, but I couldn't get through it. I stopped reading at page 99, and honestly, that was pushing it. I really didn't like the way it was written. I thought it was written terribly. I was really disappointed because it has a full series out, and I don't understand why it is as bad as it is. My friend told me to keep reading it because the story is really interesting, but I just couldn't. Question 8 is, what kinds of stories are you drawn to? I would say fantasy or gothic classics, obviously. Are there any that you stay away from? I want to say no, but I know for a fact that I wouldn't go into a bookshop to look for a contemporary or a romance novel. I know that isn't something that I would do. I wouldn't say I would necessarily stay away from it. Like, if my friend said to me, oh, you would love this book is amazing, you would really, really like it, it's really well written, and you would really like the story and the characters, but it's a romance, I wouldn't be put off just because it's a romance or a contemporary. Question 9 is, if you could require the president to read one book, what would it be? I'm going to switch this, and I'm going to go with my Prime Minister. There are several books that I would like the Prime Minister to read. I don't know if he's read any of them. Unfortunately, I can't say that he had a bad education, because I think we all know that he had a very good education. I would say The Monk, because he might learn some lessons in morality from that book, or The Hunger Games, because he reminds me of President Snow, or The Castle of Otranto, because I think it would be good for him to learn what happens to people who think they are entitled to something that yet they are not, just because of their personal history, family history, or the amount of money that they have. I would quite like him to learn some lessons on that. And finally, question 10 is, what do you plan to read next? So I have 2 options here. I'm not sure which one to pick up next. I was reading Half Bad by Sally Green, but I put it down last week. I started reading it one night. I got through about 150 pages, and I put it down, and the next day I didn't pick it up, and the next day after that I didn't pick it up, and I just haven't picked it up since. So I think I might move on. I really don't want to pick it back up. So my options are The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater, the second book in the Raven cycle, or Cinder by Marissa Meyer, because I still have not read it and I really want to get into this series. Yeah, that's the end of this tag. I don't know who has done this tag or not. I don't think that Georgie has, so I'm going to tag Georgie from Books and Babble. I will link her channel down below. And I don't know who follows me. I should probably check my subscriptions. I don't just have one friend, do I? Who hasn't done this tag? I don't think that Roy Eve Reed has done this tag yet. If you haven't done this tag, I tag you. I will also link her channel down below as well, and anyone else who wants to do it, because no one tagged me and I just decided to do it. If you enjoyed my video, give me a thumbs up. If you have any opinions or you don't agree with any of my opinions, feel free to comment. If you want to see more from me, I upload videos every Tuesday, so subscribe to my channel. And yeah, I will see you next time. Bye!